Hello all, this is Anupama Zavargi here and welcome to my YouTube channel. The title of the video today is Choose to Challenge. That is this year's theme for the International Women's Day. The pandemic has been hard on everyone, but it has been doubly hard on the women. More women have lost their jobs during the pandemic, and now that as things are getting back to normal, fewer women have been called back to their workplaces. And plus, there was no lockdown at home. Everybody was actually working from home, studying from home. So women had to take up more responsibility at home as well. As it is for, studies show that women do like 3 times more unpaid housework than the men. And now with the lockdown and the pandemic, this has increased even more. So as I started in my first video that we are working towards a new better instead of a new normal. But in terms of women's gender equality and women's empowerment, earlier studies show that it would take another 100 years to get that parity between men and women. But the pandemic has pushed it back by 25 years. So now we really need to focus more on women's empowerment and gender equality starting today. So that's why I really like the Choose to Challenge theme that the Women's Organization has set up for this year. Because with only when we challenge something, the change is going to happen. If we just go with the status quo, nothing's going to change. And more than ever, to get us even back to the pre-pandemic levels, we need to do something special from now on for the women of our country. And this is not just a women's issue. When women are empowered, when there's inclusive growth, everybody benefits. So this video is not just for the women, it's for everyone. And in this video, mostly I'm going to share what we can do on an individual level, because this is celebrated by a lot of government organizations, education institutions everywhere. But what can we do right from now, like starting today? What can we do within our sphere of influence to bring about more gender equality? The first thing I would suggest is a fun thing. You can take this to Choose to Challenge. Maybe wear something purple or green or white, like I am wearing purple today, and take a photograph with your hand raised to show that you are in. You're going to pay more attention to women's equality and to empowering them. Okay, so and you can post it on your social media, on your Instagram, on the International Women's Day website also has some specifications, so you can upload your picture there. So that would be a starting point. So you can do that. The second would be to actually speak out against injustices and discrimination that you see around. Maybe it's in your family, maybe it's in your workplace. Wherever you see any discrimination, at least start noticing them first. Sometimes even for a family, some things we have taken for granted, like when we're celebrating festivals, the women always eat last. So maybe you can encourage next time you're celebrating something, have the women folk also come and sit with everyone and enjoy their lunch or dinner, and instead of waiting for everyone to finish. So that is just a very small step, but let's start, right? So that could be one. Then another thing would be like even on, as we see now, as in the real world, it is also mirroring in the virtual world. There's just so much trolling and all going on for women who participate on social media. So you can bring these kind of things to everybody's notice. Even on WhatsApp group, there's so many people send jokes about women, and if some people just stay quiet, they don't approve of those, but they don't give any reaction. But sometimes silence is taken as approval. So I would want, at least if you don't approve, raise your voice, and I think even men don't approve of these kind of jokes. There will be 1 or 2 people in the group who do this. So at least along with the women, men also need to raise their voices against these kind of things. So any kind of discrimination that you see around, please at least raise your voices and see if there is another alternative. Sometimes it's not even there, like you are doing it as a discrimination. It just has been going on, status quo. So that is something we are going to change from this year. Okay. Another thing would be that you talk to your role model, or appreciate your role model, or somebody who has inspired you, some women in your family, in your circle, in your organization who has inspired you. So you commemorate, you actually show your respect and gratitude to them on that day. Post a picture of them on the social media, write about them, or call them and personally tell them, send a note, anything. That same way we have done in the gratitude exercise, you can do it specially for the Women's Day. I would also like to take this opportunity to tell you all about my role model. My role model in my family was my grandmother. She passed away a few years back at the age of 93, but she was such a lively lady, and she was just so much into everything. She was so knowledgeable, and she was a great artist, an avid reader, great general knowledge. She used to keep herself abreast of everything that was going around her. She kept the family together after my grandfather passed away. So amazing lady, amazing inspiration. Even when she's not there, we often think, what would she would have done, or what she would have said, and that still keeps inspiring us as her grandkids. So this is my way of paying gratitude to her, for the way, the values that she has passed on to me. So if you have anybody like that in your family, make sure that you mention them, and you share their story with the world. So that is another positive way of bringing out the best among the women. Another thing would be very important would be to nurture girls, because children are our future. And I feel very sad when I see that so many girls are having so low self-esteem issues nowadays. So we need to bring increase the self-esteem of the girls, and a few ways of doing these is, we've already talked about the mirror exercise. That's a very powerful exercise. Maybe you can teach your daughter, or your spouse, or whoever you think could use a boost of self-confidence and self-esteem. You could teach that exercise to them. If they are not willing to do it, actually another great way is to post to stick positive post-it notes on their mirror, their cupboard. So every day, there'll be a special note for them. And when they read that, it automatically increases their self-esteem. So we just need to appreciate not just the outer beauty, but the inner beauty of that person. So, you do this kind of exercise for 30 days. I have a fellow trainer who's doing this exercise with his granddaughter for the last 30 days, and he is having amazing results with that, which he has shared on our group. So I would also really encourage people to do that, just give a boost of confidence to the women in your household, just whatever they do, and you have been taking them for granted for doing those things. Start appreciating those, and send a small note, or put it somewhere where they can see the difference in their lives and the life of the whole family. Or you can sit as a family, you can watch some great TED Talks by women. This year, I think out of 129, there were like 29 women who have won the Padma Awards in Jan. So you can go through all those women's achievements, and share them with your kids. That's a great way to inspire them, because there are like so many women from so many different fields. The oldest one is 105-year-old organic farmer from somewhere near Coimbatore. So inspiration to every one of us. Like, age is just a number, right? So that's another way, share these inspirational stories with the girls. And if you have a business, if you have your own business, or you can take the girls also with you to your office sometime and show them how everything works. So we have more and more, you always see these firms, so and so and sons. So in future, maybe we'll have so and so and daughter firms everywhere. So that's one of my dreams. You see those kind of boards up there. So that's one way we really need to nurture our girls and encourage them. Another thing would be to form like mastermind groups and stuff like that for these kind of issues. And for men, if you have a mastermind group, maybe you could include some women members in there, because women always bring a different perspective. And we have a lot of women in the positions when they start, when they're fresh graduates. Companies hire a lot of women, and girls do join also. But as you go higher up, you see less and less women. So there are very few women on the boards of companies. So maybe you could have somebody like that come in and join your company, join your board, have a master class for all the women employees in your company, where a women leader comes and talks about their successes, their failures. And I think even when women who have really been successful in life, when they share their stories, they should share not just their successes or their triumphs, but also their, the troubled times that they've been through, their hardships, because then they become more relatable. So it's like the girls who are looking up to them know that whatever path they are on, even though it is hard right now, they will succeed on it once they stick to that path, So that gives them that added motivation that somebody who's been through the same kind of journey has achieved this success. So maybe if I stick to my goals, if I stick to this plan, I will also reach there. So when you tell your story, please tell the whole story with all the ups and downs. So that's one thing the women can do. I think companies need to have more classes for women on leadership skills, because even during the pandemic we've seen the countries that are led by women leaders have been able to deal with the pandemic in a much better way. So women bring a different kind of qualities to the leadership skills. So we need to encourage that. Another way to empower women is to buy from women self-help groups. Whatever you things you need, and some groups that are selling those. There are lots of exhibitions where you have all these Mahila Bachat Gat kind of people setting up stalls there. So you can actually buy it from them and encourage them, or you can buy brands that actually help that help women, and some brands give percentage of their sales to some women's causes. So you can specifically make it a point to buy those kind of brands. So that is another way of empowering the women. And we definitely need more participation of women in the workforce, in the business world. So these are small things that everybody can do. Plus, women are not that good at, finding their own strengths. They are a little shy, or, hesitant to claim their successes. So as women, either colleagues or bosses or even men, you need to be allies for the women. You need to show them the opportunities that they can have. You need to mentor these young women and girls so that they achieve their true potential. So that is another way of encouraging. You need to discuss the opportunities with them. You need to bring out the best in them, and so that the whatever qualities that they have, that they themselves are not sure that they have those. So if somebody points it out to them, they actually start believing that. So that is one great way of encouraging the girls and the women in the family, in the workplace. Okay, so this is now what we can do as a society, what we can do collectively. Now I want to talk specifically to the women, and the first point would be celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself not just for the Women's Day. Okay, celebrate yourself all the time. Because what happens is a society puts so much pressure on us. We're always taught since our kids, like, to put everything and everybody else in front of us. So it's always our spouses, our jobs, our home, our kids that take priority. And after all, doing everything and bringing everything to everybody, we actually don't have that much time for ourselves. And we are never on our priority list. We are not even somewhere the last. At least start putting yourself on the list at least. That would be a first step. And what happens is we just go from one goal to another without taking the time out for ourselves to celebrate that. And that is no way to live life. It starts becoming very draining. Even on a flight, they always tell you to put your oxygen mask first and then help the person sitting next to you, your kid. Because unless you are in that place where you can help others, then only the others will benefit. If you are always drained down and you don't really have the energy or the love in you, you won't have anything to give. And that's what is causing a lot of health problems in women, because they are just constant givers, so they are never replenishing themselves. So you need to have some kind of a me time. Maybe start with 5 minutes, and even the family can make sure that they have this. They give this family this me time to the lady of the house. You can actually check with your mom or your sister. What is your me time? When is your me time going to start? Make sure they take that me time. So that is very important. That is how you're going to replenish yourself to face the new challenges that you're going to take up. So very important thing is take that me time, and you don't have to justify that is your time. And because going from one goal to another without a break is not a sustainable task. We keep telling ourselves that just that one visit to a beauty parlor a month, or a vacation, 8-day vacation in a year, doesn't replenish us. We need something during the day to actually bring us back to that level of energy, so we can give more and more. Okay, so me time, a very very essential. Another thing I would say is that after celebrating yourself would be to don't worry about other people's opinions. We have such a heavy burden of shoulds, especially in India. Indian society just puts us such a heavy burden of shoulds on a woman. So I know you should do this, you should cook, you should keep your house clean. So as we did in the previous video of can't and won't, I want you all to make a list of your shoulds. I should cook, I should keep my house clean, I should look after this, that. Make a list, and then just replace that should word with a could word. I could keep my house clean. Suddenly a whole lot of burden will be lifted from your chest. Just that one word. So shift from shoulds to coulds, and do as much as it's possible. Just don't expect too much from yourself. Just don't set that bar so high that's it. You are just constantly, feels like you are just constantly running after something. Just live without any break. So that is one thing. Just convert shoulds to coulds. Don't let anybody tell you who you are and what you can do. You are just a single unique piece in the whole 7 billion people that we have on the planet. So maintain your individuality. Whatever you want to wear, you wear what you feel comfortable in, what you makes you feel confident. Don't go with what the latest influencers are trying to tell you. Just wear what you are comfortable with, what brings the best out of you. That's the best way to live. So especially even for the girls, I would say that. And when we are competing, we are not competing with men. We are going to be working together with them. So don't just try to do things as the men would do it. Don't lose that individual women's touch. That is also, I think, very important. We are trying to compete, and we are not fight. We are not here to fight. We are here to work together so that everybody and everything improves. So just don't be in that fight or flight response all the time. Then another thing would be, don't be afraid to let go of toxic people. There are some people, you meet them and you feel very drained out. They just suck the energy out of you. So just start saying no to them. Women have a problem saying no to people. They are always people pleasers. So they try to give some, or even if they say no, they'll give such a big excuse. They'll make a big story of why they have said no. So just understand one thing. When you say no to someone, you are actually saying yes to yourself. And that is what matters, right? So start getting in the habit of saying no, and don't be apologetic or don't feel guilty about saying no to someone. If it is not in your interest, just say no. And no is a complete sentence. Then trust yourself to make good decisions for yourself, because a lot of women depend on others to make decisions for them. Now so many girls are working, so many women are financially independent, but even though they are working, they are not taking that financial responsibility. They still depend on the men in the family to take the financial decisions for them, where to invest and things like that. So I would really encourage even the parents to encourage their daughters to take this responsibility as well. Just earning is not enough. How they use that money is also very important. So we need to teach the financial independence and financial security, financial planning to our girls and women. So that is one thing. And another thing that women need to learn is how to use technology. Technology makes things so much easier, but I see a lot of women, being scared of technologies. But now 2-year-old kids can use technology. So we just need to take the fear out and try to, educate ourselves to use technology more and more. So because everything now, especially after the lockdown, so many things, digital payments, so we need to be aware of how to do all these things, not depend on our kids or our spouses to help us with these. So start taking a responsibility, start learning this kind of stuff. Another thing is, take every opportunity that life presents itself. As women, we are always waiting for the right time. My kids need to start school, or they need to finish their 10th standard, they need to finish college, they need to get married, something or the other keeps coming up. I need to take care of the elders in the family. Yes, everything I understand, but life doesn't wait for opportunities don't wait for the right time. So when you get that opportunity, grab it. See if you can work around the other things. I don't want you to leave everything and excuse me. I don't want you to leave other stuff, other responsibilities and take, but at least see of ways you can work that around in your life. So that is a very important thing. Don't shy away from the new opportunities that will be presented to you. Then another is exercise boldness. You need to raise your voice, you need to be heard, you need to actually present your thoughts, because that is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more it gets trained. So sometimes when you ask women, a lot of women say, I don't know anything about it. They don't even make that effort to actually find out that information. So please make sure that you read well and get yourself accustomed to what are the new things that are going on around you. Sometimes because they cannot say no, they just keep telling themselves and others that they don't know how this thing works and stuff like that. And especially with kids and all, when they are after you for something and you want to say no to them, but you don't have the courage. Then that time what you say is, I don't know anything about it, check with your dad. And slowly what happens is the kids don't start, they stop asking you, because they think mom doesn't understand anything, it's better I just talk to dad. So these kind of situations, make sure that you tell the kids that I need to discuss with your dad, and then we will let you know the answer. You don't have to give the answer right away, but instead of saying no, if you keep telling them that you don't know, then nobody's going to come to you or look up to you. That is what we do to ourselves. So please be very careful of that. I've seen this a lot of times. Women, instead of saying no, they keep telling their kids, I don't know, and then they come in and they feel that their teenage kids or older kids are not listening to them or not sharing anything with them. So you have to be interested in life, you have to be interested in your kid's life, your spouse's life. Make yourself be aware of, read. Even if you're not that educated, you can actually always upgrade yourself. Just your internet is such a boon. You can just sit at your home, you have like information from the whole world at your fingertips. So please try to learn more and more new things. That me time is very important, so I would like to stress that again and again. And just be happy and try to participate in life. That is another thing. Just don't withdraw from life till your last breath. We all need to participate in life and set good role models for our future generations. So very important. Let us bridge this gap that we have fallen back by 25 years. Very sad to hear that. So let's actually make that small steps and at least try to bridge that gap and bring us to where we were the pre-pandemic level. So if you have any ideas of how you want to celebrate Women's Day, I would love to hear from you. Maybe even in the comment section, you can also choose to challenge. Just write choose to challenge, so I'll know that you are in with me in this challenge. And if you like this video, please press the like button, share it with your friends and family, especially share it with the women around you, and please subscribe to my channel. So see you in the next video. Thank you. Happy Women's Day to all. I choose to challenge.